From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar Grill. Coming up on today's show, Renegade Express, career-defining games, rule changes, and a question about basketball. Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, cptallybar.com here in Tallahassee. You can always pull out your phone, camera app, QR code, snap goes right to the website. Don't forget daily lunch specials, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., only $8.99. On Thursdays, we have cheesesteak, y'all. Chicken or steak, $8.99, that is. Comes with a side dish as well. Straight fries, curly fries, onion rings, potato salad, broccoli, side salad, tater tots, or freshly cooked potato chips. All this and much more. Spirits, good people, good times. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Warchant.com, Ultimate Seminole Sports Source. Thumbs up, 5-star ratings and reviews. Subscribe, $29.99. As good as it's going to get for a while, probably, everybody. So hop on aboard. Get involved, because Corey Clark's here, y'all. Corey Clark, how are you, friend?
I'm good, buddy. And people would be happy to know that my team did win trivia at Corner Pocket on Tuesday night. Yeah.
Let's go.
Now, shout out to, me, obviously.
Yes.
I'm the anchor. Stephanie was there. Her friends, well, I guess they're my friends, too. Philip and Hannah. Philip is a maniac. He's really good at trivia. And then our friend Taylor. It was a great team. It's one of those teams where we cover each other's blind spots pretty well.
Nice.
And it just, worked out perfect. I got a couple, they had a whole sports round, so I nailed that. Then there was spelling, which I'm not good at, but we had good spellers.
Okay.
Artsy people, we had them there too. It was food and drink. It just all worked out, man. It reminded me, remember Trivial Pursuit?
Yes.
Where
absolutely.
there was the arts and literature, there was entertainment, there was sports. It's like we all had our own piece of the pie that we covered. And the Corner Pocket felt our wrath. I mean, it was a pretty impressive display.
Teamwork making the dream work.
Amen, brother.
So that's Tuesdays at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Tonight is bingo. You can always check that out as well. So Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Show them some love. Show them some love, y'all. All right, since the last time we rendezvous, this will be a mailbag show. We'll be back Friday as well to do another show. We'll try to do at least 3. I don't know. Shoot, I think the all season's over, right, Corey? I think next week we're going to kind of start ramping up. At least Tom Lang has said he's going to probably be firing the cannons, so we'll need to be prepared to maybe go into a little bit of overdrive here. But, I think Friday will be the luncheon, right? Or is Friday tour of duty, Saturday luncheon? I don't know, but we got spring football coming up, y'all. So time to make sure you're subscribed, dialed in. Check out warchant.com. Plenty of content going up on the site. Apparently, since the last time we talked, I don't even know, some sort of website entity released a list of this best quarterbacks or something in the country. Jordan Travis was 6th. I got to look it up just so I can see how angry I'm supposed to be. Although I saw a lot of comments on YouTube, and they're kind of like, I'm not that mad about it. I don't think it's that bad. So everyone's kind of a little bit, grounded.
Well, and when you look at the names, it's not like you would be like, they're not outlandish.
Bo Nix, though? Is Bo Nix in front of him?
Yes. That would be the one where you'd be like, all right, man, really? But we're also tinted by our perception of him is tinted by what we saw at Auburn. But he actually was good last year at Oregon. Yeah. And then the kid at Washington, I would probably have Jordan in front of him. Penix, isn't that his name, from Indiana?
Michael
Then went
Penix.
to Washington.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think there's a clear number 1. Maybe Drake May is clear number 2. I don't know. But I know who the clear number 1 is, and it's the dude that won the Heisman. After that, I think the next 5 or 6 are all, to me, kind of interchangeable. They're all really good football players that produced a lot of points and yards last year.
I think I was listening to Todd McShay of ESPN on the Ryan Russillo podcast, and I think it was Albert Breer. Yeah, Albert Breer, NFL Network, and he was saying that there's some, whatever. It could be 1 or it could be 2 guys out of 32 teams. But there's rumblings that some teams are like, I'll punt this year on a quarterback in the draft so I can get Caleb Williams or Drake May. Like, Breer's like, I am pretty sure, like he's like, what I'm hearing right now is that Caleb Williams and Drake May will probably go in the top 5 of next year's draft. I'm like, really? I watched Drake May against Miami. Was not impressed at all. At all. But, hey, that was just one game, and maybe that Kevin Steele defense showed up for 1 week. Don't think so. Don't think that's the case. Also, Adam Fuller was on the Jeff Cameron show. You should have checked that out, everybody. And there's a sort of a synopsis Ira banged out on the website as well. The riddle is settled in there, everybody, apparently. So Duke Cooper is moving to safety. And when I said think about Jordan, you're close. Jordan's 13. So's Duke.
What are you doing that for? What are you doing that for?
What?
Just playing games with our listeners.
Well,
like
I mean, I don't know. Listen, Ira knew about this like weeks ago, and I don't know. Again, I'm in a car with Ira. Ira tells me everything, and then sometimes like, hey man, you can't tell anybody this, and I'm like, yeah, fine. But he didn't say anything. He didn't caveat it at all. And but I don't know. I don't want to betray the confidence of Irish OFL. So we got that. Plenty more. Check out the interview. Check out the write-up.
It sounds like Adam Fuller betrayed his confidence. Just out there giving it away. That's interesting.
Yeah, what do you think about that? I guess we should maybe pause and let that breathe for a minute. It's
look, this was but it was a guy that was so good as a corner his first year, and then as we talked about numerous times last year, just looked lost and not good. And again, I'm not just talking about the catches he gave up. It was a practice. It was a thing we saw in practice. Like, man, what's going on? Like one-on-ones, he was just getting run past.
Yeah.
And just not didn't look anything like the guy that I saw in the spring and then spring of 2022 and then the fall of 2021. It just didn't look like that guy. And then it never got better really all season. So he's clearly a guy that has some skill though, has some ball skills, has some talent. And yeah, a change of scenery might be a good idea. We figured there had to be somebody that got moved there. And to me, it was either he or Azarie were the two that made the most sense. Azarie just for his body type, but Amarian Cooper because I couldn't foresee a way that he played a lot next year. You know what I mean? Like who's he gonna? He's not gonna be in front of Az Thomas. He's not gonna be in front of Renardo Green. He's not gonna be in front of Fintrell Cypress or Jarian Jones. All those guys went past him, or for that matter, Kevin Noles or Greedy Vance. So he was 7th at least in your cornerback room, and now he becomes what, number 3 or number 4 in your safety room? Yeah. So he's got a better chance to play, and maybe he takes to it and plays really well there. Like Akeem Dent was a corner. He's not been Leroy Butler at safety, but he's been a 2-year starter that's had some moments and some nice plays and a pretty consistent figure in your defense. So maybe Amarian Cooper can make a similar transformation to safety.
What about Dennis Briggs, I guess full-time now interior defensive lineman?
To me, that makes the most sense.
Does it, though? I mean, they got a lot of guys there now.
Well, they have a lot of guys at DN, too, and I've never seen it, and again, it's not his fault. It's maybe me. It's the eye of the beholder. I've never seen that explosiveness that I would want from a defensive end in 2023 college football. I need somebody that can beat tackles and put pressure on the quarterback. I just don't see that kind of explosiveness out of him to be a starting or a contributing defensive end at a place like Florida State. And I also think that, the best same thing though, right? Like I guess where does he start next year? Yeah. You've got Fisk and Lovett, Jackson, and Farmer, right?
Yeah.
So he's competing probably with Farmer for second-team reps. That seems to me more doable than competing with Patrick Payton for second-team reps. And it's just, I guess, that does take away a big body at the defensive end. I don't think they have anybody. Yeah. They don't have anybody else like that, right?
No.
Like Leonard Warner's not here anymore. They don't have one of those guys necessarily that's an edge setter. But they do have some. Maybe the kid that transferred from South Carolina will be that guy.
Oh, Gilbert Edmond. Yeah.
Because I don't think Dennis Briggs was going to beat him out either.
Right.
So, or McClendon, or Peyton, or Jared Verse, clearly. So he was either going to be 5th at defensive end. He has a chance now to, I think, be at least battle for 4th defensive tackle. And he'll probably be in the rotation, right? He's played a lot of football, and it's important, man. We talked to Dennis Briggs last year. It's important for him to know what you want him to be, so he can get his body adjusted to that. Being he kind of was playing it like he didn't know whether he was supposed to be a tackle or a defensive end, so it felt like he kind of kept his body in the middle.
Right.
Like, well, I don't want to get too heavy. That might be a defensive end. Well, I don't want to be too light because I might be a tackle. Now he knows he's a tackle. So go eat as much. What are we wanting for? Protein? We want sodium? What do we want him to fill his body with, Aslan?
Protein.
Okay, well, sodium too. You want a little bit of sodium.
Yeah.
So get a healthy amount. But yeah, put some weight on. Muscle, fat, whatever you have to do, man, get bigger because that's the only way you're going to get on the field. You can't be a 275-pound defensive tackle.
Yeah, well said, man. Briggs has played in over 1,100 snaps in his career, so maybe finally figuring out where home is for him will make him settle in and be a bit of a more contributor. So he graded out at 68 this last year, so not bad at all. So sky's the limit. By the way, real quickly, somebody commented on YouTube and was like, hey, man, it'd be really great if you guys put timestamps and let us know what you guys are talking about. And somebody actually went in there and really banged out some timestamps for every 2 minutes. But we do, everybody. They're there. They are there on YouTube, on the Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts. We put timestamps in there, so they're available. Use them.
You just have to click the description or something
Correct.
And it shows up?
Well said, Corey. Well
there you
said. All right, let's and also baseball won 11-2, which midweek games were an adventure last year. So to go on the road and hammer out 11 runs against, I guess you were saying, maybe one of the better arms that the Dolphins have, JU. So cool. I like it. Supers, Link. Supers. We'll figure it out once we get there.
Yeah, it was the transfer from, I think he's from Wake Forest, came in and pitched really well.
Oxford, Brendan Oxford.
Yeah, he didn't get to pitch much in the first weekend, but I think he won batter maybe. But he pitched really well against Jacksonville, and then the offense, man. Cam Smith hit another home run. The freshman hit a home run. The one, I don't know if you've seen him. I think it's Jordan Williams is his name.
Okay.
He leans in, when he's batting left-handed. He's a switch hitter, I think. And when he's batting left-handed, as the pitcher is in the stretch looking to get the sign, he's doing the exact same pose to the pitcher. So he's leaning on his front foot, looking like he's getting the sign. And then when the pitcher raises up to come set, he gets into his batting stance. I've never seen anybody do that before. It's pretty cool. It might also get him hit or thrown at a couple of times, but I like it, man. I've never seen anybody else do that. But he hit a bomb. Cam Smith, again, to right field, which is really, really encouraging. A dude that big with that strong, the fact that he's not trying to pull everything, he knows that his power's to right center field, and he's plenty strong to hit it out of any park. Good to see. Good to see.
Cam Smith, 3 of 6 at the plate. Tibbs, 2 for 5. Diamez, Ross was 3 of 4. So banging out hits, man. Just playing the hits, 15 of them. 2 errors, though. But, again, they'll clean it up. I'll give time on that. I'm fine. 4-0. Noles now going to what? Dallas-Fort Worth take on TCU. So, and from the frying pan to the fire. Best of luck. We won't hold it against you too much.
TCU is pretty good. That's gonna be that's a really good challenge for those guys.
All right, let's get to it. Renegade Express. Let's go to the basketball one first, I guess. It's first in line, Corey. That's how we do it. First in, first out. Random_John. Good morning, Aslan and Corey. Hope you both are ready for shirtless picture season.
It's fast approaching, isn't it, Aslan?
It is. Which we're good. We got Vitamin Energy on our side, which the freight shipment came in, Corey. I saw. I sent you a photo. Came on a pallet. And, dude, not only did they give us all these new flavors and potions, they gave us all this swag. I mean, there's 6 different shirt styles for men, like tanks, different T-shirts, blue, red, black, small, medium, large, X large, sunglasses, hats, koozies, everything. Also women's apparel.
Okay.
So maybe some stuff you want Steph to, spice some stuff up. She can put some stuff on. She's comfortable with it. And,
is it that kind of stuff?
Well, not like Victoria's Secret, but like some sporty, tank top-ish, low-cut, midriff kind of stuff. Which,
sounds like stuff I could wear.
Yeah, man.
I don't mind bearing my midriff. I'm all about that life.
I say this, Random_John continues, knowing that Ham is not getting any younger, and I love what he has done here. Now that it seems all but certain that FSU's basketball team has decided to be worse than any team this school has fielded, are you still the opinion that keeping him is right? I know what he did for this team. I know what he's built. So what happens if he's given one more year? Then what? What if next year looks like this and sets us back even further? Is that what we want? What does another year even look like? Are they really going to jettison the scholarship players en masse and say you're not good enough, bring on a bunch of new transfers who we all hope are amazing? This feels a lot like blindfolding yourself in a dark room and trying to hit bullseye on the dartboard. Seriously, in your opinion, what does another year with Ham get us? How can we possibly make FSU competitive next year?
Those are all fair points. I think they can be competitive. Will they be a championship contender like they were 3 years ago? Absolutely not. Will they be on their way to being a championship contender? I would think probably not, because I would think my personal opinion is either next year or the year after that it has to be his last year. He's going to be 75 years old. And I think you get to a point where it's you've got to. There's going to be some conversations after the season, going into next season, about what this thing is going to look like. And I'm of the opinion that, well, number one, if you fired him and brought in a new staff, you're not going to be all that competitive next year anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like you're blowing up something that somebody's going to turn around immediately and turn into something great. But again, I don't know how else to say it other than the portal is out there, and you can go from awful to decent in the portal. And I think, and I'm sure I'm in the minority. I know the man. He's been very good to me. I've known him for 15 years, and I know that colors the way I think about this. I am of the opinion that if he can go out decently, you try to make that happen.
Yeah.
This is a debacle, and I just would be very sad for him and his coaching staff and all the players that he coached over the years if Leonard Hamilton's last year looks like this. It would make me sad. Now, is that the way to run an athletic program? Do tiers mean anything? No. So I'm just speaking as a human being, as somebody that knows the man, that likes him a lot, that appreciates everything he did for Florida State and the kind of program he's had for the last 20 years, that maybe you allow him a chance to get it right or to go out better. Get it right makes it sound like you give him a 5-year. If he has a good year next year, you give him a 5-year extension to go out better than this. That said, there would be an understanding that if it looks anything like this again next year, we might not wait till the end of March or the beginning of March to make a change, because we want to get ahead of the curve and go get ourselves a coach. I might be looking for a replacement even as he's coaching next season, depending on what the conversations are, man. It's just 75 is old to be trying to rebuild for the third time at one school, which is essentially what he'd be doing. That's just, but you can go in the portal. The Gainey kid will help if he can come back, if he gets the extra year, which I assume he will. Cam Fletcher, Matthew Cleveland might still be here, and you get some other pieces. You could have a competitive team. And honestly, at this point, I know it's defeatist. It's not how sports is supposed to be. I just want them to go out competitively. Like if they're a bubble team, okay, man, fine. And they're on the wrong side or the right side of the bubble. As long as they're in the bubble, that means they're close to 18 or 19 wins. They've had some nice moments. They haven't. That to me is almost at this point best case scenario for the Leonard Hamilton tenure.
Absolutely.
And that's sad, right?
Yeah.
You don't want you don't, and also you're running an athletic program, and this is a basketball team. You don't want to go into a season saying, okay, the best we can do is maybe get to the bubble. Like, well then, and does this help us does this help us get any closer to competing for championships in 2025 and 2026 if we bring Leonard Hamilton back in 23-24? And the answer to that is I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. But
on the same token, don't you think sometimes, and it's not a charity. My man's making millions of dollars. I think just in this particular instance, if there's some, whatever the conversation is, I wouldn't be upset if they gave him a chance to have a reclamation year so he doesn't go out with this embarrassing team. But
this is my thing, though.
I understand the opposite viewpoint too.
In the current state, it does feel very glum that he would go out like this. But on the totality of his career, I don't think anybody Leonard Hamilton, all the great stuff that he did, Oklahoma State, Miami, Florida State. Oh, man, that last year, though, it won't be talked about. But him as a competitor, does he want to walk away right now? If he doesn't want to, I think he's earned the right to carry on for at least one more season. But, Corey, who do you recruit? How do you recruit when they know his age, they know the temperature of his seat? Who's going to really want to even come here? That's, I don't know. I mean, unless he gets one-and-done guys in some sort of NIL collective, just goes nuts, goes ham for ham, if you will. I just don't even know, what kind of even good caliber transfer you could really get in here to fix it. All right, I mean, we love Leonard Hamilton, but these kids aren't going to be I want to come here and help this guy out. It doesn't work like that. So I don't know what next year looks like. I don't even know what kind of caliber player he could get in the transfer portal, but surely better pieces, something a little bit more cohesive that fills in some gaps rather than kind of this mishmash of whatever they're rolling out there on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
And honestly, if I'm the AD, if I'm Michael Alford, and Leonard says, I don't want to retire, I want to keep coaching, I would say, that's fine, coach. Yeah. But we do have to have an exit strategy that we have to talk about because you are going to be 75 years old going to next year. Oh, yeah, and you just lost more games than any coach in FSU history for one season. Yeah. Whoops. And that's an embarrassment to you. That's an embarrassment to the program you built. And so understand that you don't get to coach in perpetuity. If it looks anything like this again next year, it will be your last year. And I don't want to fire you. Nobody wants to fire Leonard Hamilton, man. He's done too much. He's too good a dude. But Michael Alford has a job to do as well. And you've seen those crowds. Men's basketball is a moneymaker. It's not football. It's not anywhere close to football, but they do expect to make some money there. And 3 years ago, they had great, unbelievable crowds. And now you look at it, and it's the absolute definition of apathy. And that can erode and corrode a program that it can take years to build back up. So that would be my concern. And I would be frank with Leonard and say, I'm not firing you this year. That there's no, and I would think that, I'd honestly think that'd be unfair. It's one awful season. The last year was a bad season, but guys, we can't paint over the fact that they did lose all those players to injury. Malik Osborne, Anthony Polite, on and on and on. They lost so many games to injury, real key people. And then this year hasn't been great either, but last year was an abomination with injuries. So that's kind of an excuse. This year, even with those injuries, not an excuse to look this bad. But it's also not an excuse to just fire a guy that's built up, in my opinion, a lot of really goodwill. But now you're on the clock, man. This is Bobby Bowden never had a year like this. He was fired after what would be the equivalent of a 16-14 season. He wasn't fired after 2-10, which is what this would be. Well, actually, this would be 0-12. You're setting the record for school losses in a year. So Bowden didn't let his program get this bad, and he was fired. Now, also, Bowden's program deteriorated over the course of a decade. This has been 2 years. They were in the Sweet 16 2 years ago. So I just think he deserves a chance for one more year to get it right. I also think the other side is true, that if it does not get right next year, then yeah, there will be a real conversation had, and you might have to do the ugly thing of firing Leonard Hamilton. But what do we care? What do we care? Because that's not on the table, Aslan. Points moo. They're going to the Final Four next year.
Points moo.
Caleb Mills, most outstanding player of the Final Four next year. And I haven't looked up where the Final Four is in 24, but we'll be there.
You got things to do. You got to be at your best. That's why Vitamin Energy is here to help you out with special formulas that give you extra immune support and recovery. Vitamin Energy is specifically designed to keep you going stronger and longer. It supports weight loss, gives you up to 7+ hours of energy. It also tastes great. Mango, Corey. Lots of mango. We've got a pink berry. Haven't tried the pink berry yet, but it's on the Focus formula. That's coming up on the deck over here at the Midtown offices. No sugar crash. Super convenient to drink and take with you anywhere. Fits in your clutch. I figured out. It does fit in the clutch. Shout out to whoever emailed me and told me that. Wow. Also, again, fast acting, helps out the immune. Corey, they also sent us 8 hours sleep. Kind of excited. It's got 6 natural ingredients, including valerian root and melatonin to help you fall asleep quickly and for 8 hours into the night. So what you waiting for, everybody? Use the promo code WARCHANT BOGO, B-O-G-O at the end of WARCHANT, and buy anything on the Vitamin Energy website at vitaminenergy.com and get one free. It's easy as that.
So what if you drink the 7-hour energy and then immediately drink the 8-hour sleep?
That might be
Who wins?
We got to do that for maybe the interns. That'll be part of their hazing.
That's a good point. Yes.
See
if they fall asleep, if they get 1 extra hour of sleep or 1 less hour, however it works.
There'll be a battle in your body there. Try it, everybody. Warchant BOGO's the promo code over at vitaminenergy.com. Florida State alums leading the charge over there, helping us out, offering that great promotion to all you folks. vitaminenergy.com. Give it a shot. Colorado Nole, Corey. Gentlemen, no real question to pose. Just been quite some time since I've had the opportunity to post or listen, so I wanted to take this opportunity to wish both of you and all the Noles listening a fabulous day. Go Noles.
Man, what a sentiment.
Shout
just
out
out of
Colorado.
nowhere, just wishing fabulous days to people. Yeah. I wish the world was more like Colorado Nole.
Right. I was thinking that too, man, when the shipment showed up. Like our guy Danny at Zaxby's, when he was the guy sponsoring the show, made all those T-shirts with our faces on it. Our guy Ed and Brett and Courtney over at DeLuna Coffee made those tumblers with our logo on it. And then Vitamin Energy just sends us all this merch. Like all this nice stuff. Like you guys are already paying us, but you're also doing nice things on top of it. They like us, Corey. Well, they really like you. I just get to hang on to your coattails. So it's
No,
really
that's
cool.
not true. They like you too, Aslan. They
Tether
like you
yourself,
too.
kids. Tether yourself to someone who's likable. It's good. It's like a human shield.
There you go.
Let's go to
Good advice.
Naples. Mark M. Adam Cz. I almost called you Adam. Adam Check. Sorry, bud. Wake up! It is President's Day week indeed. Kind of crazy to me that my kids were off school. My office was closed as well for President's Day. There should be a War Chant Day, considering all the hours you guys put in to create way better content than the meaningless stuff we hear on the news. Anyways, that was my rant. Back to FSU. In 2023, who leads the team in tackles? Who leads the team in receiving yards? Thanks for keeping the show moving. Spring ball right around the corner. Go Noles. Tatum Bethune?
I mean, that's the him or Deloach. I'm going to say Deloach.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Deloach. I think he's going to have a bounce back year. Either him or Duke Cooper. Maybe Duke Cooper just thrives at safety and becomes the next Jamie Robinson. And then Shaheem Brown's not a bad guess there either.
Dark horse. Okay, I like
Yeah.
it. I like it.
And then Johnny Wilson.
I mean, just maybe Winston, right? If I just want to be provocative, I guess, and, be contrarian on the show here.
I am looking forward to see what that looks like. Oh, Winston Wright in the slot.
Yeah.
I assume that's where he'll be. I could be wrong. He might be out wide. He might take the place of Pokey, and then Pittman's your slot guy. So you got all three of those dudes on the field at the same time. But I'm really genuinely curious to see what he looks like come March 6th when we get to watch them practice.
Jamie had 99 tackles last year. Tatum Bethune, 84. Deloach, 65. That's 1, 2, and 3. Your leading tacklers. So, Akeem Dent?
No. I think it's one of those three that we named.
Okay. One of those two. Bethune
Well,
or
we said Deloach and Bethune. I think Shaheem Brown's a dark horse.
All right,
Yeah.
I like it, Corey. Very nice. Island Chief. Wake up. February. Just like in the days of Bobby, Norvell out firing up the fan base. Norvell said these were the first losing seasons he has ever suffered. From that day when he was 3-10, taking Corey's question about the message to recruits.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because 0-4. Man. How impressive is it that he kept the locker room? How big was 4th and 14 to keeping the fans? Man. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, 4th and 14, right? That's when game day comes to Tallahassee, Corey, right? They're going to show that play and then show your guys' exchange, right? I mean, that's the whoever does the Rinaldi stuff, the Wojciechowski, Gene Wojciechowski. Those are the video elements in the story that are going to drive home what he endured.
I feel like it's probably like a 20-minute feature on me and Norvell.
Just the whole thing, just raw. I mean, it's take the whole entire press
Well,
conference.
but also get maybe a little bit of my backstory.
Yeah.
Show me walking across the campus, something while they talk about he grew up a Florida State fan and then went to Georgia by way of, and all this stuff. Covered Jimbo Fisher, and then they get into Norvell. I mean, we all know that story. So it'd be focused mainly on me. Yeah. And then it would show that moment, and it would break it down. It would have us watch that moment. In fact, guys, you can go on YouTube and watch the video we did of he and I breaking it down together last year. Mm-hmm. Last year around this time, I feel like. Yeah. We did the video where he and I broke down that it wasn't a rant, that answer to my question. But yeah, that has to be the game day I don't know. Well, I can't even think of a number 2 option that's close. It's got to be the Clark-Norvell dynamic and how it completely changed the program. They're 15-6 since I saved the program.
You're welcome, everybody.
But real question, it is very impressive. The both. But first, the keeping the locker room.
It's a minor miracle.
Very big.
It's a minor miracle.
Well, look, man, they had that Syracuse game came at the perfect time. That was the worst ACC team on their schedule. They were 0-4. They desperately needed a win. They tried to give it away. The 2 scrambles by Jordan and our man Fitzmagic making that game-winning kick, those were enormous. Enormous. That's an enormous win. I am convinced that they lose that game, they could very well just go off the cliff. No. But they won that game, got a little confidence and belief in themselves, and then went and stunned everyone in North Carolina, and then all of a sudden the program is on its way back. Like literally it was those 2 weeks. But it's very impressive that he got his team to play that hard and care that much for starting off 0-4. I think Jermaine Johnson had a lot to do with that. Again, when your best player is one of your hardest workers, that can only be good for a program. It could be good for an office, anything. Your most talented person is your hardest worker. I just can't tell you how important that is. And then the 4th and 14, man, what? Yeah. That was it. That was his marquee win, obviously. He didn't have many to choose from until 2022. But the fortitude they showed after blowing a lead, being down essentially to their last play, and then going and winning the game over their rival, getting their rival coach fired. That was a really, really good moment for Mike Norvell. It definitely got the fan base back on his side. I mean, we all read the posts, though, and the emails and the tweets in June and July of last year. It's not like the fan base was all on the bandwagon. Yeah. But it got a few people on the bandwagon. Some of them jumped off after the Florida game. But it was certainly more full than it would have been if they had lost to Miami and Florida in 2021.
Also got Manning fired and then made the university overextend themselves and perhaps plunge themselves into bankruptcy, getting Mario and all this stuff. So 2 for 1 on that one.
Andrew Parchment for life.
Yeah. Armchair Osceola. Wake up. Aslan. We've got Corey taking Stephanie on a cruise. Mm-hmm. Where are you going this summer that is exotic, relaxing, and memorable, and perhaps could be suitable for a female accompaniment?
Who asked this?
Armchair Osceola.
Probably a man asking that.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say it sounded almost like a invite, trying to fish for an invite.
Yeah. I don't know yet. I don't have anything really kind of mapped out yet for the summer. But I think the boys want to do something over in Europe, so might do that. I'll let you know, though. I'll keep you posted. Thank you for asking about my personal life, though. I appreciate it. Not my
Have you ever been on a vacation with a girlfriend?
No. I mean, I went down to Miami with the ex for a wedding, but I don't really count that as vacation.
It's a trip. That's what I meant. It's just like a trip. Because I was wondering, like, how, say you meet someone in April.
Yeah.
And you're dating. You're not boyfriend and girlfriend necessarily, but you're dating. You like each other. How long in a relationship are you comfortable enough to be like, hey, I'm going to Europe. Do you want to come with me? Or are you not even Europe?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to Charleston or Savannah for the weekend?
Yeah. I think at my age, pretty quickly on that thing, like, all right, like, I'm going to this. You want to come along? I already got the room booked, all you got to do is just, hop in the car, or like, I'll pay for half your ticket or something, Yeah. Pay one way, pay the other. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Which, by the way, Corey, I shouldn't jinx it, but I just opened my mouth, so I'll finish the thought. I have a date planned for Thursday, but I had a date on Tuesday with a different person. Okay. So, like, when it happens, it's always it's never just like I meet a really cool girl, I go on a really good date. It's like I meet a really cool girl, I go on a date with her, and then within like 24 hours, I'm on another date. Like, I have them planned out. It's not like I hang out with one of them. And I don't know how amazing it could possibly be to where I would cancel the other one, because it is just one date. It was just one. It was a drink. But it was encouraging. It was good. That was Tuesday night. Tonight, another one. So, like, what happens? Then all of a sudden, like both of them.
Do they know what you do? Like, they won't listen to either one of them. Won't listen to this, will they?
Maybe. But I mean, hey, it's dating in 2023, Corey. They know what they signed up for.
Yeah, but I feel like the girl you're going out with tonight is going to know you're kind of longing for the girl you saw Tuesday night.
Not necessarily. I mean,
not longing, but you know what I mean. Like,
will make me forget about her, then, babe.
Hey, how about this? Exactly right. So I was going to say this real quick, and then we'll move on. After Stephanie and I's first, so I was on Match.com. They don't advertise with us. I'm not going to say one way or the other if it was a great experience or not. But I was on Match.com. Stephanie and I'd actually planned a date with a woman for Memorial Day that Monday. Nice. Neither one of us realizing that most of the good restaurants in Tallahassee would be closed. So we ended up canceling it. That was going to be my first ever internet Match.com date, was that one. Yeah. And then we had to move it because there were no good restaurants open. We ended up moving it to Friday. In the meantime, I had started talking to Stephanie, and we really seemed to hit it off on text. I met her Thursday?
Yeah.
And, no, Wednesday. So I met her on Wednesday. We went out for drinks. We had a very good first date, whatever. It was so good, in fact, that I then texted the woman that I was supposed to see 2 days later and say, I'm sorry, I can't make it. I actually weirdly kind of met someone, and I want to see where this goes. I want to give her, I want to give her the respect and not go out on a date with someone else because I thought there was a connection with us. I'm really, really sorry. And she was fine because we had exchanged 9 texts. It wasn't like, I did make her laugh once, but that was a whole nother story. That's what I do. I'm good on the text. But anyway, back to the football.
Oh, that's great. So Corey's the nice guy. I am not the nice guy. In case we didn't know that, 5 years into doing this show together, everybody.
No, I just don't think you've met your Stephanie yet.
Yeah,
you'll know.
Yeah,
I think you'll know.
Touche. Yeah. Much love, stuff. All right, speaking of travel, Armchair Osseo Nola says, FSU Notre Dame Dublin. Absolutely insane. I know we need to keep as many home games as possible, but I would 100% travel to that one. Drinker DeLuna and your vitamin energy. Hit the like button. Go Noles.
It would be cool. It would be a road game, though. It would not be one of these you go to a foreign city, a foreign country, and it's 50-50, or the public, the general public that's there doesn't have a rooting interest. I can promise you if it's in Dublin, the Irish folks are going to be rooting for the Fighting Irish. And I can't imagine more than 10 or 12 or 14,000 Florida State fans make that trip. So it will be a road game, but yes, it would be an incredible experience. Yeah, everybody will have to tell me how it goes.
Don't say that. You'll be there with all of us, Corey. Come on.
We'll see.
Get on the boat. Jangalang. Wake up. Good morning, fellas. In honor of President's Week, or President's Day week, which president would have made a solid football player? Teddy Roosevelt just always looked like a tough SOB to me. Squatty, strong, good bend. I think he would have made a solid fullback or linebacker. Abraham Lincoln, would have been a decent wideout with his long frame. What say you?
I mean, I was going to say Lincoln is a quarterback. Wasn't he like 6'3"?
Yeah, he was tall.
And back then, that's like being
that.
That's like being 7'5".
Yeah.
You can see over everything. Smart guy, clearly.
Cerebral.
Analytical.
Yeah.
I would say that I would say that he would be a good. But the real answer is Gerald Ford. He was the offensive lineman at Michigan.
Well
back
said.
when Michigan, won things.
Hey-o.
So that's my answer. Is we don't like to veer into politics too much on this show, but I would say Gerald Ford to me is the answer there because he actually did play football and at a pretty high level.
Abraham Lincoln was 6'4". Give him his due, Corey. 6'4".
With the hat, he was like 6'9".
Imagine
That's
putting
like
the virtual reality set on his hat. With a great point of view he'd be able to get.
It's incredible.
The real answer is William Taft, right? He would have been a good guard, like a good pulling guard. He'd been a mauler.
Don't think no, not an athlete, man. Just because you're big and fat doesn't mean you can go pull and get in front of a running back to mow over a linebacker. I think he's just falling on his face, like the big fat kid in Varsity Blues. By the way, you remember the big Billy? You remember the other big fat kid from Remember the Titans? He was also in My Name is Earl.
Oh, yeah. He was on Boy Meets World, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know that show, but I know he was on My Name is Earl. He was his brother, and he was the huge lineman in Remember the Titans that sang the song. And you would all recognize him if you saw him. He was in a lot of stuff around 2004. So I saw he was on a podcast. I can't remember what it was. A couple years ago, I saw him on YouTube. He is now cut and looks like a bodybuilder. He was on Segura's show.
Ethan Suppley, by the way.
Yeah, he's lost like 300 pounds. He said he got up to 550 pounds at one point.
Oh, my gosh.
Then he dropped it to 250, then went back up to 450. I mean, just incredible what he was doing to his body. But then he got in a really good shape, and now he's all cut. And, I thought that was a pretty incredible. He doesn't even look like the same dude. It does not look like the same person at all,
wow.
which you can imagine.
Poor guy's got so much
Skin.
excess skin, though. But good for him, though, man. He looks like, he looks like a former, linebacker. He looks like Bill Romanowski or something, man.
Right.
Just pulled that one out of nowhere. But good for him, though, man. Probably drank some vitamin energy. Captain D _63. Good afternoon, Corey Naslund. I hope both of you are doing well. My question, I read on the site about it costing $100,000. I think you left off some zeros. $100 million to possibly move to another conference. It was also saying this taking place in about 6 years. So I think this is the Pete Thamel from ESPN. He was quoting people and said, will it happen in 6 months? No, but it will look different in 6 years, which is the most no duh statement. Yeah. And that was his big, ta-da. But anyhow, I'm asking you two, if it will cost that kind of money in 6 years or so, why not work some kind of deal now with the Big Ten or the SEC to come sooner so we don't get left in the dust financially when they sign their new contracts and leave all the conferences behind, or is it still too early?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the money, right? If they could go to the big SEC right now without any more financial penalty, they would. But 6 years from now will be $100 million less. You'll owe them probably $100 million less than you would owe them right now. Maybe more than that. Maybe it's $130 million less. So that's where the waiting 6 years. Every year you wait is another, I don't know what, $30 million that you owe off the books, give or take, right? I know last year the big number was 360, so I assume this year it'll be 320. Next year the year after that it'll be 280 that you owe. Because every year you get closer to 2036, the amount of money you would owe to bounce lessens, but it's still an enormous number. So in 6 years, that number will be obviously less than it is now. If they could find a way to do that, sure, we've talked about it, but it would have to be. Florida State can't come up with that money. It has to be Apple TV, YouTube TV, ESPN, the SEC, one or all of those entities combining together to pay the exit fee for Florida State, or at least to pay 70% of it or 50%. You know what I mean? They've got to be made happy. Be like one of these owners that builds these stadiums in a city and be like, hey, I'll pay for half and you pay for half. The taxes pay for half, I'll pay for the other half, but I'll keep 100% of the profits because that's just how business works, baby. That's capitalism. But thanks for the half that you paid for. Anyway, I feel like that's the kind of deal that would have to be made is some entity that really wants Florida State and wants them now or very close to now has to buck up and pay some money because obviously Florida State doesn't have over $300 million to spend. Yeah. And they haven't been invited to one of these conferences yet.
That's true. I mean, Texas and Oklahoma went half-seas on 100. So I don't even know if we could go half-seas with Clemson. Would you folks want to go half-seas with Clemson or Miami? I mean,
if it gets you into a better spot, absolutely, yeah.
Anyhow, gets you in a better spot financially would be going to mybookie.ag, picking a winner, and then using the promo code WARCHANT to get your cash deposit bonus so you can maximize your payouts. The NFL season has come to an end, but the opportunities to win don't stop. Whether you bet to earn or to make the games more exciting, MyBookie gives you the most for your money with that redesigned promo bonus. Go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code WARCHANT for your bonus. I think this weekend is finally, it's going to be upon us, right? The much-anticipated Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury boxing match. Jake Paul of YouTube fame, which, I don't know, man, maybe a couple more knockouts and he won't be known as the YouTube guy. I'll just be like the boxer. And then Tommy Fury, the brother of Tyson Fury, heavyweight boxing champion. Tommy Fury's the betting underdog, Corey, plus 135. Can somebody beat Jake Paul already? Your brother's a heavyweight champion. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're the heavyweight champion, Brock Purdy, Chubba Purdy. But, I don't know, the family name's on the line here, Tommy. Figure it out, man.
It's crazy. Maybe Jake Paul's the best boxer that's ever lived. And he just did YouTube as a hobby, and we're going to find out he's like the next Joe Louis.
Oh, man. Who do you think is going to win, everybody? Go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code WARCHANT, make the fight night a little bit more interesting. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. All right, maybe one or two more here, Corey, and then we'll be back tomorrow, finish up the week. And if there's anything else to talk about, we'll mention it. Oh, by the way, shout out Willie Taggart, NFL running backs coach for the Baltimore Ravens. I didn't see that coming. Good for him. Good for him. Still on the books, though, everybody. January 2024, last check going his way.
It's close. So maybe once they cut that check, they'll have the money to buy out that grant of rights and get to another conference.
Oh, we should have done like a Bobby Bonilla Day thing for Taggart. Like every month when the check cleared or whatever, just been like, Florida State has 13 more of these payments to dole out or something. But
hey, before I forget, because I've already forgotten once this week, at the baseball game on Friday, the opener, there was a kid, I'm going to say he was 13, 12, somewhere in that neighborhood, that banged on the glass at the press box to say hey.
He was older than that, man.
I mean, he wasn't much old, maybe 14.
No, I thought he was like in his 20s, like a college age kid for sure.
Oh no, he was because he was wearing like a little league uniform because he got in. I don't think so.
This is a different one. This is a different one than Corey. Maybe this was the second guy that came up. Maybe there was one that did it when you were there by yourself. But when I was there with you towards the end of the game, it was a dude like in his 20s for sure. They bang on. He's like, "I love you guys."
Oh no, he came up. He wrote on his phone. Because I was inside.
Yeah,
he wrote on his phone.
Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, so he wrote on his phone. I listened to you on Warchant. I don't even think he said I'm a big fan. I think he just said I listened to you on Warchant. But anyway, it was very nice. I waved and mouthed thanks. And then he came back on his phone and said, "Can you say my name on your show?" And his name is Wyatt Jesse. So Wyatt Jesse, because I nodded, I said yes, I would. So Wyatt Jesse, I'm saying hello. I'm saying your name. I hope this gets you everything you wanted out of it. But seriously, thank you for coming up and not saying hello but texting hello, which is the first time that's ever happened to me, so that was cool.
Minute 49 of the podcast 5 days later, but we did it.
I'm sure he's been listening with bated breath for the last 5 days. I know he's going to do it, guys. He wouldn't lie to me.
I'll try to remind you before Friday's show, Corey, at the beginning of it, so you can be like, hey, by the way, if you're out there still and you don't hate me now.
That's right.
So I'll try to get to there. All right, let's stop with that because I did mention this in the open, so I need to mention it. Thomas Ortner, which, by the way, we got a first-time poster. We'll get to you on Friday. Thanks for being here, Sun-Dried Menace 13. He posted on the boards, want to know how to get involved. He didn't even ask us a question. He just has got like a 3-graph soliloquy about life. So,
all right.
We'll read that tomorrow. That's a tease. That's a Mike Greenberg-esque tease on ESPN. All right, last one, Thomas Ortner. With all this talk of possible rule changes, what do you gentlemen think? What are your opinions? I personally don't like any of it. Now, I sent this to you, Corey, because I think I actually saw Thomas Ortner post it on the Tribal Council. I sent it to you and Ira in our group chat. 4 proposals about getting these football games just to mercifully end quicker. The first one would be no back-to-back timeouts, no consecutive timeouts, which I'm opposed to. I think you should be able to use 3 in a row if you want to ice a kicker. Because how is it icing a kicker if you only use 1? Like, the whole thing is like if you got 2 maybe, like, he doesn't know. Are you going to use the second one? Anyhow. Number 2 would be no untimed down at the end of the first or in the third quarter, which, I don't know, does that happen like what, maybe 3 times every Saturday? And
right.
One of them's like in, Texas State's game, so I don't care. But number 3 and 4, I'm all for. Number 3 would be the clock runs after first downs except inside of 2 minutes and a half. So second quarter, fourth quarter, when you get a first down, the clock will continue to run until you're under 2 minutes to go in the second and fourth quarter. I like that. And then the last rule would be the clock runs on incompletions once the ball is spotted, just so we're all on the same page here. Tom says stoppage rules are silly. It would diminish the chances of seeing great comebacks that we've been privileged to see throughout our lives. Would we have come back to beat Florida? Would we have won the national title in 2013? The timeout rule is just stupid and punishes the coach for being efficient with timeout usage and clock management. I'm with you on that one, Tom. I think they should be able to do back-to-back-to-back if they want. So what do you think, Corey? If it's really about players' health and well-being, move your roster limits from 85 to 92 or give players 5 years to play 5 years. More football good, less football bad.
Yeah, all those are very good, thoughtful points. I would say the timeout thing, again, though, how many times, if they're talking about speeding up a game, how many times, Aslan, have you been at a Florida State game in the last 5 years where the double and triple timeouts to ice a kicker has been used.
Yeah, correct.
It happens once a month, maybe at the end of the first half, maybe, and it just doesn't. The TV touchdown TV timeout, kickoff, return it to the 26, TV timeout. That's what kills the games. That's what makes these things go 4 hours. It has nothing to do with the pace of play. Like, I know there are more plays being run, but back in my day, there would be games that lasted 2.5 hours, and they would run 75 plays. Well, now they're running 86. You're telling me those 11 plays are the difference in an hour and 20 minutes time for it? No, it's the incredible amount of TV timeouts. I wish they could figure out a way to do it like soccer, where you can still get your ad. We all know what pays the bills. You've got to get your revenue, so you've got to get your ads in. But golf does it now, where you can still see a guy tee off as they're doing a commercial.
Oh, yeah, double box it.
Something like that. Yeah, now, I know that's not ideal, folks. I know you're not going to want to be like, well, I can't see the full screen. Number one, get to the game. Come to the game. It's a beautiful day. Right. But also, to me, that's better than these just incessant TV timeouts over and over and over again. It just, you have 4 in the first quarter. It's just too much. But as far as the practicality of it, the one I think they could adopt, I guess, just to see how it is the NFL rule of the clock not stopping on a first down. But, it used to be, you're really talking about if there's a 10-play drive and you get 3 first downs all on the ground, you're probably talking about because they do start the clock again after a first down, the game clock. They just start it with 31 on the play clock. It takes them a while to spot the ball. So as they spot the ball, the clock stops. But then they start it up again.
Yeah, once the chains are set and everything.
Yeah, so you're talking about probably 7 seconds per first down. So you're talking probably about the difference between, 30 seconds to 0 seconds. I don't know that would be that much of a game changer either, but it is what the NFL does.
Well, I think with that coupled with running the clock on an incompletion, because to your point about 75 plays back in our day, now it's 85. I'll tell you what, man, 9 out of those 10 plays are throwing downs or throwing plays, and the ball and the clock is stopping because it's either a first down or it's an incompletion. I'm with it on that. And listen, I get it, man. More football better, less football bad. And I'm kind of saying this selfishly, I guess, because I have to cover this stuff. I'm not getting drunk and hanging out with all my friends like you all get to do. But man, that these games just drag on too long. So I'm in favor of anything. If you can shave off 10 minutes of a game, to your point though, Corey, probably the easier way to do that is to integrate commercial breaks into change of possessions a little bit more seamlessly. I'm all for trying it, man. I think even 10, 15 minutes less of a football game, I think, would be great for all of us. Because, listen, the reason we love football so much, everybody, is because we only get it for 4 months, and then it's away all the time. So
I hear you. I don't disagree, but I like that college football has slightly different rules than the NFL. I do. In the NFL,
you don't have to be tackled. You can just fall down and you're automatically down. Yeah, that's
right.
A great rule.
Yeah, you have to have 1 foot in instead of 2. There are some distinctions. And in the NFL, you can only call 1 timeout for a kick to ice a kicker. You can't call 2 in a row in the NFL. So I guess they would want to adopt that. I just don't. And so, if you want to stop the clock to move the chains, it's never made a ton of sense to me. Are they just in much better shape in the NFL? Those chain gang guys? In the college, Jerry, stop the clock. We don't know if Jerry can run 10 yards to plant the chain down. All right, he's here. He's huffing and puffing, but he got it down. Start the clock again so we can get on with the game. I've never quite understood why the college had a different rule there. I just don't like the incompletion thing. And I'm old school. I get it, but you're inherently changing the rules of the sport. An incompletion has always stopped the clock. And if you're trying to mount a comeback or not have somebody come back against you, the risk of an incomplete pass is a big deal in strategy. Well, if it doesn't really change anything, and I'm not even talking about in the final 2 minutes, because you pointed out, well, maybe they'd have that rule where an incompletion only stops the clock in the final 2 minutes. Well, what if you're down by 10 and there's 2:20, or you're up by 10 or 7 with 2:19 to go? Well, you might throw a pass there because the clock's going to run anyway. But you wouldn't if you were going to have to make one of the other team burn a timeout. So I just don't like a rule that would fundamentally change the sport But all those other three, I think you could. They wouldn't be that drastic. I think the starting the game clock after an incompletion is just a little too drastic for me. It's like that dumb year where they started the game clock after a kickoff. Before first down, they started the game clock.
Yeah.
They did that for a year because they're idiots. That was 2006, I think. It was the year they lost at NC State on a Thursday night, which year? Pick a year, gang. But it was one of those years. I think it was 2006.
Oh, man. All right, that's a wrap for us then for today. We'll be back with a Friday show with the remaining questions. I think I'll let it breathe for a little bit. Maybe if you're listening to this, it's still open and you can post in there. But Corey and I will be back. In the meantime, though, check out the Jeff Cameron Show. Again, he talked to Adam Fuller. That full interview is up on our YouTube page. There's also a write-up from Tom Lang kind of summarizing everything for our subscribers, because there's benefits to being a subscriber to warchant.com, like saving you time, everybody. Saving you time. You have to sit through the entire interview. You go right to Tom's notes, get all the nuggets that you need out of it. We'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you. Thumbs up on the way out. Maybe rate and review. Subscribe. That'd be cool. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.